Welcome back to First Up, the First Stop in your busy day. And this is the segment that we all look forward to because, well, we all like talking about money and how to make more of it and how to make the money that we do have, stretch even further than humanly possible. So we've got our friends from the Unit Trust Corporation back in with us to give us more sound financial advice. And this week we're talking about financial well-being. Let's say welcome once more to Wendy Bishop. She's the Manager of Research at the UTC. And also welcome back to Aklima Bika-Maraj, Assistant Vice President for Marketing and Communications at the UTC. Good morning, ladies. You look magnificent.
Thank you.
You look like your financial well-being is, the quotient is very high.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let's talk about Financial Wellbeing Survey. What is the Financial Wellbeing Survey?
Well, the Financial Wellbeing Survey is a survey that we commissioned KRC Research to conduct based on what we are thinking. Our strategic initiative is to refocus on the customer, and as such, we decided that what we're going to do is to take a snapshot to assess what persons define their well-being to be. And as such, we've conducted this over, and it's a national survey, and Wendy can give you a little more about how it was conducted.
What's the modus operandi?
The reason that why we decided that we must do this survey, this well-being survey, is because we manage over 18 billion of Trinidad Tobago's investment. And so we feel responsible for ensuring that
Breathe.
that we know that they know exactly what they're doing with their finances. So hence we had this survey. We wanted to take a pulse as to exactly where they are financially. Secondly, we wanted to know about their practices and behavior, right? And thirdly, to provide some recommendations how they can actually become financially well.
How long did the survey take to be completed, and what's the sample size?
We conducted the sample was 1,000 adults over the age of 18, 18 plus, so decision makers. More than that, we went July 5th to July 30th, approximately 26 days we took on the field, and the actual report took 3 months to be written.
So basically you have a sort of a snapshot.
A snapshot
of the different kinds of investors out there.
Yes.
Different kinds of people out there. So what do these people look like?
Well, what we observed is that we are not a homogeneous society when we look at our financial well-being. When we looked at the financial behavior and practices of the 1,000 adults who were surveyed, we observed that we have those who we call financially savvy, who are more the white-collar worker who will actually look at making investments, planning for retirement. We also we have the financially striving, who more or less mirror the savvy, but their income is not as high as that of the savvy. Then we have who we term the financially struggling. They are more the middle to low income segment. And we have who we call the financially disengaged or financially slow, to continue with the S's, yes, and they are the unskilled labor force.
That made up about 44% of the persons interviewed.
Yes, and that latter group made up 44% of the group.
Now, a couple of these groups would be receiving breaks in terms of income tax and that sort of thing, but yet still they continue to struggle and find things difficult. How do you reconcile those two? Because there are certain advantages to being in that group, but yet they're unable to maximize those advantages.
Because what financial well-being is all about is about managing your money. It's not how much money you make or you have, it's how you actually manage it, and also to ensure that you achieve your financial goals. So it's like about looking at your income, your expenditure, looking at how much you save, which is short-term, how much you invest, which is long-term. How you actually engage in that whole management process is what will make you financially well. So when you have all these tax breaks, sometimes we have more money, but what we realize is that when we have more money, we spend more, because that was one of the questions posed to our survey of our respondents. And what they indicated is that, yes, we will need more money in order to be financially well. You ask, how much money would you need? And over 55% said we'll need at least 5,000 more per month to be financially well. But what we have observed is that they do not take a stock of their income and expenditure and manage their expenses in order to achieve their well-being status.
Was this a random sample, or was it focused on employed people only?
It was a random sample. Right? What we did is that we look at 16 locations throughout Trinidad and Tobago. We look at the administrative wards. Trinidad, we did 95% of the 1,000, and Tobago we did 5% based on the population size of these varied areas. So we look at Arima, Couva, Tabaquite, Pinal, DB. You know, we went throughout the length and breadth of Trinidad and Tobago.
This data, to me, it's groundbreaking, because I've never heard this type of research being done by a financial institution. Is this the first time UTC has done this? Because I'm looking at possible comparisons to past surveys or data that you may have had before to see trends.
Well, what we actually did, we commissioned the survey, but it was the first of its kind in Trinidad and Tobago. As our ED mentioned at the launch, she indicated that while you measure, you look at your GDP, you get a good, you can assess what's happening in your economy. And there is also a Human Development Index, which tells the human condition. This is really to tell your financial well-being. And we are at a juncture in our life where Unit Trust is going to celebrate its 30th anniversary. Based on our mandate since inception, it's been to mobilize savings in the community. And we felt it was a good snapshot or a pulse to then perhaps later on be used as a benchmark to do further assessment by surveys. So it's the first of its kind, yes.
And when one thinks of a survey, I mean, as groundbreaking as it may have been, what do you think you learned about the data itself with a view to in terms of the limitations, doing it differently next time around to get more comprehensive data? Are there any limitations you could think of?
Well, there weren't any limitations that we observed when we actually executed on the survey, because we looked, the instrument was adequately designed to capture the information necessary. The only hiccup, if we were looking for limitation, will be trying to reach like Mayaro and Point Forte. I must say that we did not reach as far as Mayaro and Point Forte, but we went to the other administrative wards. So we may want to see exactly how those communities actually financially plan their lives.
And so, how are respondents chosen?
Randomly. What we did is went to the community, the various communities and in the commercial areas, and according to the business of or the activities taking place at that time, we say, okay, we'll take every 2 persons or every 3 persons. So it was chosen randomly.
So how will this fantastic data pool you have, which I'm sure the other financial institutions want to hack into, because
this is marketing gold, by the way.
So you're going to share it?
Yes, it's publicized. It will be publicized, and what we
why would you do that?
No, because the intention of it is to continue. The intention and the overall objective is to improve on the well-being of our citizens.
So it's not a selfish thing at all. You want to improve financial literacy.
Correct.
Yes,
correct.
We want to be a part of the program that will ensure that persons in Trinidad and Tobago are financially well, and we see the bigger picture, the macro picture, that if we do this, then it will have less of a burden on the economy. Because if your household finances are in order, all those social programs can be reduced. So we look at it at that level.
I just got a question from our producer, who you could tell her academics is kicking in. Are you practicing open, collaborative innovation? Is that the word, Khadija? Yes. Open, collaborative innovation?
Yes.
Now that we have the stats and we had a major launch, we plan going forward to partner with the Caribbean Monetary Studies in order to run the survey again. The results of that and the findings of the survey can then help financial institutions similar to UTC in developing products and services to assist various segments that we've identified in improving their financial well-being. Now,
what surprised you the most? Because you go in sometimes with some presumptions. What surprised you the most about the data?
What surprised me the most about the data was actually, even though we had a feel for it, but to see statistics jumping out of you, is that more than a third, 39% of our citizens spend more than they earn.
Wow. 39% of our citizens are spending more than we earn.
More than they earn.
So we have a lot of work to do.
We have a lot of work to do. 24% actually save money regularly, and 37% will save money off and on. So we really want to work on that 39 group and that 37 group, because so we are going
So you're not guessing anymore. This is definitive data that tells you.
Yes.
So it can define inform policy.
Yes,
indeed.
but in addition to that, what was surprising also is the fact that we've gone out to communities, we've done our financial planning seminars, and what you find is that although persons know they have the basic tenets of financial planning, practicing is often difficult, because they know we've seen stats where it showed that you have creating a budget, you have paying off your credit card on time.
But people will say that's all well and good, but real life is hitting me in the face every second of every day, and that's great. But when real life intrudes, I can't hold on to that. I have to act in the moment and deal with what's coming at me now.
Very well.
And that is true. And what we always advise is that you do a financial checkup, be it annually, be it quarterly. And if it is that you realize that you're really hard-pressed, do it daily, because sometimes we go down the road and go and buy things at impulsive buying.
Well, we got to congratulate you both.
We've got to take a break for the news, but we'll come back.
No, we're supposed to be wrapping. Is that all? I think we're wrapping. We want to thank you very much for being with us. Know that you'll come back and to give us more details about this groundbreaking survey.
This is fantastic news.
Maharaj and Wendy Bishop, both from the UTC News, is next. Stay with us.
Thank you.